Hello, everyone. This is from Milwaukee to Nashville. I'm Daniel Goodwell, and over there is John Lewandowski. Our show is brought to you by the wonderful folks at Hockey Locker, 2002 West Howard Avenue, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You can call them at 414-800-7585 or visit their website at hockeylockermilwaukee.com. Their phone number is 414-800-7585. All righty. So we have some stuff to get into before we get into today's games. The Atlanta dropped their last game against the I believe that was the Everblades was the last game they played.
Um, I think
That
so.
that is 12 straight. What are they? The Chicago Bears? Atlanta has lost 12 straight against the Everblades. The Everblades tonight put a whooping up on Greensville Swamp Rabbits 8-0. For those of you that are still around, little bit of hi, how are you from us over here. We ain't forgotten. Um, the Preds on Thursday took on Edmonton. The Preds fall in overtime. McDavid gets his 1,000-point scoring in that game for the Preds as Michael McCarron and Cole Smith. Scoring the game winner for Edmonton is Darnell Nurse. I wish him well. As I saw tonight that he got injured by a nasty, dirty hit, and I say nasty and dirty because it was a straight shoulder to the side of the head from Ryan Reeves. What else do you expect from Ryan Reeves? On that goal by Cole Smith, Zach LaRue picks up his third of the season. Third assist of the season. Um, the Preds officially fall to 0-3 in the season series versus Edmonton. That series, we do not have to see Edmonton again this year. Then the Preds took on the Flames yesterday. Dustin Wolf gets a shutout. Scoring for the Flames is Denal Miramanoff, Mackenzie Weegar, and Kadri on the assist. Blake Coleman with the empty net goal in the third to win. Um, the Preds have not looked good this year at all. And now I understand they started slow last year, found a way into the playoffs. You got to go and win two out of every three games you've played so far. You are 5 points back out of fourth place, which isn't a horrible thing. It's not that you can't dig out of this, but you were 2-5-3 in your last 10. Out of the 18 games you have played, you are outscored. You have not scored more than two goals in less than, I believe it was either 15 or 16 of those games. You have not scored more than two goals. The Preds got to find a way to put the puck in the net.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a very long season. The only team with a worse um, minus ratio for goals scored versus goals against is the San Jose Sharks, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the Montreal Canadiens. Also, the Boston Bruins are tied with that. Um, with that being said, Dante Fabro claimed on waivers earlier by the Columbus Blue Jackets. We would, from Milwaukee to Nashville, would like to wish him well. Um, the Preds now in open cap have 1.5 million in open cap space. They have 44 out of the 50 roster spaces available. At this point, I do not know what could help them. Marchessault has a modified no trade clause. O'Reilly, Novak, and Nyquist and Sissons all could be moved to make cap room. I don't know if I'm moving O'Reilly, but Novak and well, actually, I would probably move O'Reilly over Novak, be it that he's 6 years younger. Nyquist as well. He's getting up there in age. Sissons as well. Cole Smith, I can see them moving him. McCarron, not so much. And on the defensive side, I don't see any movement until if Statsny gets back. Now, I do not know what the extent of Statsny's situation is, so I'm very unsure of that. But uh, the Admirals have been without Nick Blankenberg, and I did not see Jake Livingstone in the third today versus Grand Rapids, so that looks like that's a injury for the Admirals as well. The Admirals today did take on the Grand Rapids Griffins for the sole spot of first place in the division, and I will turn it over to my co-host at this time.
All right, so yeah, the Admirals took on the Grand Rapids Griffins today here in Milwaukee. Shots on goal in the first period, Grand Rapids outshot Milwaukee 13-11. In the second period, Milwaukee outshoots Grand Rapids 14-4. In the third period, both teams had 7 shots. And in total, Milwaukee outshoots Grand Rapids 32-24. On the power play, Grand Rapids goes 2 for 4 with 15 minutes, 6 infractions, while Milwaukee goes 1 for 5 with 23 minutes, 6 infractions.
Are uh, going into this beforehand,
Okay.
the first power play goal was scored on a 5-on-3. The second one was scored on a standard power play.
Okay.
So, scoring of the first goal is Jolston Ively, his fifth, with an assist from Brogdon Rafferty, his fourth. Then Jacob oh boy, Ruslovsky,
Ruslovsky is what I'd guess.
with his second with an assist from Andre Belcher and William Lagesson, who I am not a fan of, his third. Lagesson took a couple cheap shots at Reed Schaefer as well as Kemmel and Mateer. So he made my I don't like you list. Then scoring in the second was Cross Hannes, his fifth unassisted.
All right. Also in the second at the 1956 mark, this time for the Admirals, was Kiefer Bellows scoring his sixth of the year on the power play with assists from Ryan Ufko, his second, and Vinny Hinestroza, his 14th. Then
It's
in the
Penny. I'm just kidding.
then in the third period at the 5:22 mark, the Admirals score again with a goal from Joachim Kemmel, his fifth of the year. That was short-handed and unassisted. And then at the 17:32 mark for the Griffins, Alex Duchet scores his third of the year unassisted on the shorthand as well.
That goal should have been called off from a kneeing call from us from Lagesson. Lagesson need Kiefer Bellows. Bellows was not happy with that call. And he let the refs know it at the end of the game. Got a game misconduct or a 10-minute misconduct for abuse of an official. He also was the third star of the game. The second star of the game was Cross Hannes with a goal. And the first star of the game was Billy Huso with 30 saves on 32 shots. Billy Huso has done very well. I would not be surprised to see him again in a Red Wings jersey soon. Magnus Corona did what he could to do to keep the Admirals in this game, but penalties hurt them. The Cross Hannes goal is is not on him. That was a bad turnover by the Admirals on the defensive side. Um, the two power play goals, you kind of got to put that on the guys in the box. Goal that's really on him is Alex Doucet, and that's shorthanded. Like I said, there was a dirty play that led to that with no call. I understand letting him go, but also in this game, I would like to throw it up to me. I'm a very becoming a very religious person. My thoughts and prayers are with Isaac Ratcliffe as he was helped off the ice and went down the Grand Rapids tunnel because he was in so much pain. Yeah, they didn't even take him to their bench. He went to the Grand Rapids bench.
Right.
Austin Watson came over and gave him a tap and kind of, had a little bit of sportsmanship there. They really got to get out of their head. They got to get out. They got to stay out of the box. Good fight from Marino and Watson in this game. Another good crowd, 6,321. The Admirals have not gotten under 5 this season so far. Your referees were blind man number 1 and blind man number 2. I'm just kidding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, but I am. Grady Hamilton was joke number 1, and Jordan Deckard is joke number 2. Linesmen were Jamison Grenier and Greg Offerman. I have no love for the AHL and their officiating at the current moment, as the last 3 games I have seen bad officiating from the AHL level. This is unacceptable. You're the second best league in North America, and you really got to fix this problem. You've got to pay attention to what's going on. Some of this stuff has got to be reviewable. They've got to make sure that they can keep guys safe, because if you don't do this, things are going to start getting out of hand.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you right now, if you want a league like they had in the movie Slapshot, then keep letting this happen. But you're the second best league in North America. You got to fix this.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add to the Preds woes or anything like that?
Yeah. While we were quickly doing this, I was doing a little bit of Googling, and unfortunately, this season is the worst start to a season in franchise history. And I got that from many sources on Google. So, I mean, what do you do at this point? Like,
The seat's got to be getting hot for both.
right, like at this point, your players are talking to, the uppers and everything, and probably filling in as much as they can, but something's still not clicking or working. I don't know what it is.
I'm it's the system.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Because I mean, if you look at what Milwaukee does tonight, we outshot them for the first time this season.
Right.
All right, we lost, but we outshot a team for the first time this season. But we're fighting for first place. It's not about how many shots you put on net; it's about how many you put in the net.
And stop.
And right now, they're minus 17 in defensively. I mean, I think Luke Schen's got to go. Schen's been utterly horrible.
Yeah, he hasn't produced as they had hoped.
And
In my opinion, Fabro hadn't either, but maybe a new change of scenery in Columbus, like we said, best of luck to him. But and then Nyquist is doing okay this year, but like last year, I almost felt like the first year he was with us, which I believe was last year, he almost had a breakout year. And so I was kind of looking forward to seeing the same thing this year, but I kind of see a slow start from him.
Schenn has played in 18 games, has 1 goal, minus 6 in 20 penalty minutes.
One interesting stat would be to know, is there anyone on our current Predator team that is above even in the plus minus department? for the season up to this point? Because we've covered a lot of games, and there's been a lot of games where they've been in the negative, in the plus minus.
No. LaRue, even in his 13 games with 3 goals, has a -2.
Yeah, so something is
3 assists, sorry.
done.
Something
And then you also, like you mentioned, the hot seat stuff, and it's like, well, the season is early. It's starting to get a little later in the start to the season, but it's like also if you do start looking at, would we switch coaches during the season? What coach candidates are going to be out there and maybe willing to accept a position?
and I mean, I know the correct answer, but
So do I. The obvious thing would be to bump Carl Taylor up, in my opinion.
I mean, obviously, success at the college level, he won a championship. Success at the AHL level, the Admiral, he won a Calder Cup with it or went to the Calder Cup as an assistant coach with the Stars. I don't remember if they won that or not.
I don't believe that. Oh, when he was an assistant, I believe that I think they did win with him as an assistant.
And then he came here, and they've made the playoffs every season since.
Right.
I just he's got that winning culture about the way he does things.
Right. And just like Milwaukee's come out and said, is our environment here is we want to win.
And Nashville wants that same environment.
Right.
So and here's my thing, Trotz, you're going to kind of have to eat this one a little bit because you told everyone the reason you cut Duchesne, which is looking really bad, is you didn't want guys to come here to retire. Well, that's what it looks like Stamkos is doing.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like Marchessault's here to do. Shea isn't playing off the way you expected him to. The only guy keeping you in it is maybe Roman Yossi and Saros is in the top 10 in goals against in save percentage for his last 10 games in the league.
Right. I mean, I'd add Forsberg to it too. He's definitely been keeping them in them too.
But you're running into this brick wall of
Right. You can't win games off of two players playing their best every game. And I'm not saying that any of the other players aren't playing the best, but something just isn't clicking with the rest of them as good.
and and that's been my thing. I've heard rumors that Nashville's been sniffing at Sidney Crosby because the Penguins are so bad. But I don't even think that would save them.
No, it's definitely something either systematically with the coaching and a breakdown happening because, I mean, they are playing well as athletes every game. I see them just about giving it their all, and they're still coming up short.
And I think that comes from a system thing. If the guy's giving it all and is buying into the system and you're still not winning, that's not on the player.
Right.
Now,
And by this time, it's got to be so defeating and frustrating mentally for everyone.
and see, that's the thing too, is how many times have we seen stuff like this happen and guys get sent to us and they're just broken.
Right.
And like they'll come here and like a McCarron last year where he was like defeated and came here first game, just popped somebody in the mouth, and that sparked him. And
Right.
a month later, he was back up there playing the way he needed to.
You know,
I honestly think that at some point you you have to make the move. And
and another hard and difficult thought and decision is okay, something's not working, but what is it going to take to fix it? And unfortunately, at this point, at what cost?
and that's the thing. Is it Because if this continues beyond that, they fire everyone. Taylor can't fix it right away. Then
Right.
what? Is it Saros? Is it Yossi? Do we need a different captain? Is the leadership wrong? What is there you could do to fix this? Because I'm not in panic mode, because at the current moment I'm not really all that upset.
Yeah, and plus by now we're only roughly a month fully into the season.
And to think about it, in 18 games, 5, 10, and 3, you're worse than the Blackhawks. The Sharks have more points than you. You're dead last in the league, and you were projected to be a cup contender. There are so many of us that would be ripping our hair out of our head in frustration.
Right.
But honestly, I think that the small decisions like not moving Saros and keeping Yarrow, where you could have had the extra money to go get a better defenseman, to go get, some moves, and Saros would have got you that.
Right.
I'm just not sure. I know, I see it.
Okay.
Um, I just don't, I'm like I said, I'm not sure. I'm not sold on Saros.
Yeah, I'm not either.
I'm 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 not saying he's a bad goalie. He's a slow starter. He's a solid B goaltender, maybe A minus. He's not going to win you a Vezina. He's not Pekka, where he's just going to keep you in game after game after game after game after game and play, 60 games in a season.
Right.
He's not that goalie. So if he's not that goalie, why are you paying him 7 million, 8 million next year? So at what point does a team that's a cup contender go calling Nashville before that new contract hits and go, hey, look, we're willing to eat all that, but you're only getting one first and a top defensive prospect or a top goaltending prospect.
Right.
Like, because we have to eat so much, unless you're going to eat cap for the next 8 years, which I don't want to do,
No.
you're not going to get Stamkos to waive his no trade, which you gave him. Marchessault has a modified no trade. I don't know what the extension of that is, or what teams are on that list. That's probably between him and the general manager. But at what point can you fix this? Now, can it be fixed? Yes. Is there enough time to fix it? Yes. If you don't fix it soon, no.
Right.
I think if you keep going the way you're going and you lose against Vancouver, Seattle, Winnipeg, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Tampa Bay, and Minnesota, you go winless the rest of this month and you don't do nothing, I think
It
it's
rings a
time
bell.
that the CEOs and the uppers above Trotz are gonna go, you're gone.
Right.
But that has been our show today. Thank you all for watching. This has been From Milwaukee to Nashville, brought to you by Hockey Locker.